What's up, guys? Before we get started, we're gonna get some coffee from our favorite coffee shop here in Antigua. Coffee, Guatemala. Let's do it. Alright, creators. So, let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to show you, I'm going to kind of like explain to you why I'm choosing raycasting for doing the shooting system. The other way to do a shooting system is with physical bullets and actually detecting the collision. But I'm going to explain to you why I chose this method. At the end, it's for simplicity. I think that for mobile games, doing it with actual collision with bullets and physical objects, it can hurt a little bit on performance, but again, that can change in the future. We can again implement it back to physical bullets if it doesn't work as quite as we want to. So raycasting is actually very simple. I'm going to try to explain to you how it works. Let's say we have a gun here, and let's say this is the muzzle. So what does raycast do? Actually, raycasting, it starts a ray, or it draws a ray in the physical Unity world, and it detects if it's actually hitting something. It's kind of like you give it a start position, a direction, and an end position or a range. And if you can picture it here with a color, let's go with blue. So let's say we do a raycasting here, and we give it a position of the muzzle, we give it the direction of the camera transform, or actually the camera forward, and we give it a range of, let's say, 100, right? So this is the starting point. Raycast, it's going to go here, and let's say our camera is all the way back here, right? So we're looking behind the gun. So where we are actually rotating with the camera, it's going to dictate where the raycast is going to hit. So if we're rotating at this spot, the raycast is going to hit this spot. If there's something here, the raycast is going to return us true, and it's going to say, hey, we hit something, okay? Give me the coordinates of the hit position. So it's going to give you a vector 3. It's going to give you a vector 3 of what it actually hit. So we can know that if it's an enemy or with a shootable object, then we can actually go ahead and simulate the shot from the muzzle. So we simulate the shot and we draw another raycast and we actually start the shooting. So there's kind of like two steps to take into account here. One is actually a raycast that it's going to be updating on every frame. If we detect that something is there and it's actually shootable, and I'm going to talk to you about that in a second, about the layer of shootable, then we go ahead and draw another raycast with the correct fire rate, and we actually detect if we hit something again. If we hit something again, then we can apply damage. Then we can apply the recoil to the camera to simulate that effect. And so that is not so easy, because with the raycasting it's actually very easy to hit something. So if we add the recoil, then the next shot is going to go here, the next shot is going to go here, the next is going to go here, and so on. So it's add a recoil with the X and the Y. So you actually need to counter that recoil with your mouse and actually be hitting the targets as the fire rate increases, or if you're doing with a sniper, the recoil is going to be very big and it's going to go up. So that's pretty much the basics of how raycasting works, or how I am actually implementing it, because you can implement it in a lot of different ways, right? So that's how I am implementing it, and I'm going to show you the script that I wrote. And the other thing to take into account here, oh well, let's get into that later because I don't want to dig in too much right now. Okay, so I have a player here set up, and don't mind the other things that I show you here that I didn't walk you through. I'm going to be walking you through as we go in the devlogs just right now for the sake of it. I know that this is much more advanced than my actually devlogs show, but I just want to I didn't want to start my devlogs before I had something actually working, so I apologize if I'm going to spoil something here before I show it, but my point is that I wanted to show you the progress and how I actually build stuff. Okay, so if you can see here, I have a prefab of the character here, and I have a kind of like a belt. The gun is gonna live on top of this belt and it's gonna shoot that way. So let me show you what I am working on, or actually what I worked on about the shooting script. All right, so the shooting script here is actually not that complicated. You're gonna see a lot of stuff here that is not pertinent to this devlog, but just ignore that for now. So the way that we do raycasting is physics raycast asks you for a vector 3 origin, a direction, and a hit, and it outputs a hidden information. And it also asks you for a max distance or a range. But the important thing here is that the origin is the camera position plus the distance we have from the camera, which is this distance, the camera position, and our actual or the gun position. That's the distance from the camera. And let me draw it for you here to make it a little easier. So we have our camera. Let's draw it here. We have a camera here. So the actual thing that we're doing on this script is we're saying, hey, draw a raycast from the camera at the camera position, make it in the direction of the camera forward. So it's actually doing something like this. It's saying, okay, the raycast is going to do from the camera with a delta, and this is the direction that we're going to that we want to do the raycasting. If we do it in third person, this is the character, the camera is back here, so from here, delta, direction. Okay, so this is the important part here. It outputs the target hit. So if it actually hits something, this returns a true or false or a boolean. And if we actually hit something, the next thing that we do, don't mind this for now, the next thing that we do is we detect or we check if what we're hitting is actually shootable. If it's shootable, then we go inside here, we get the hit position, the target hit dot point. This is very important. This line right here explains you all you need to know about raycasting and how it's done correctly. So it gives us the point that we hit. It detects, it defines the shoot direction, which is the hit position here, minus the muzzle. This is the muzzle, the fire point. I actually have it up there assigned already. So this gives us the direction. It's a very simple vector B minus vector A, and this gives us a vector 3 direction where we actually need to instantiate a new raycast from the muzzle to the direction that we're hitting. So if you can picture it, we actually hit something. Okay, cool. We have our gun here, we have our muzzle here. We're not gonna use this raycast here on the camera because we need to instantiate a bullet from the muzzle to the hit position. This is the hit position. So what we do is we define another raycast here and we instantiate it on this direction to the shoot direction. And this is the final raycast that is going to tell you if we hit something or not and we can apply damage or not. So it's two raycasts that are happening here. So if we shoot and we actually hit something and it's shootable again, then we go ahead and get the collider information of that shoot hit. And this is just something that I do here. In the future, I'm going to explain to you what I do with networking and multiplayer. But at the end, we instantiate a bullet prefab that I created before. And where do we instantiate it? In the fire point or the muzzle position, and we give it the transform rotation and we instantiate the bullet. The bullet already has a velocity that goes in the forward direction. So it actually simulates that you're actually shooting with a physical bullet and raycasting, and returns the hit information. If we actually hit something, we return the root object, we return true that we hit something, the shoot hit name, the collider, and blah blah blah. If we didn't hit anything, we return false, but still we tell it what we actually hit. If it actually didn't hit anything but it hit a wall or something like that, we don't apply anything like damage or anything like that. So the important thing here to know is that if we actually hit something, so if it's hit, cool, then we go ahead and do the corresponding things. We check the body part. I'm going to talk to you about in the future that I actually apply different damages for head and for hips, for legs. So I actually do headshot, do body shots, and do, like arms or legs damage according to the position that or the collider that we hit. So cool, if we actually hit something, then we do a hit marker, we remove the crosshair, we apply some damage. This is going to be talked in the future. This is multiplayer stuff. And we finally hit the recoil. I'm going to talk about recoil in the next video, and it's going to be actually pretty simple and very interesting how I do like procedural recoil for different guns. I'm going to show you how this works. This is all the script that I wrote for actually doing the raycasting. I'm going to be turning on the gizmos here so you can actually see the debugging things, and I'm going to add a puppet here so I can actually shoot it, so I can actually apply damage to it. So yeah, that's pretty much it with the raycasting and with the shooting stuff. Let me show you how it works. It's very simple. I know this is going to be kind of like a pretty short video, or actually we're not going to cover a lot, but you're going to see here how it works. So here, as you can see in my left side, I am actually drawing a ray, and that's the raycast from the camera, right? So I'm not hitting anything right now. It's not shootable. The only thing that's shootable is my enemy over there. So if I actually go ahead here and put my crosshair on the enemy, it actually shoots. So it's shootable, it detects a raycast from that and gives it the shoot direction. And if you can see, we instantiate bullets from the muzzle point, not from the camera. So we're gonna have to kill this guy. Okay, so I think the killing is not working yet, but as you can see, I'm actually hitting the head right now, I'm actually hitting the hips right now, and it's applying different types of damage, as you can see here. 8 for the head, 4 for the body. So that's pretty much it. That's how you do raycasting and shooting with recoil from the camera, but you actually instantiate the bullet from the gun's muzzle, as you can see right there. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, I hope you enjoyed this video and this devlog. I know we didn't cover a lot, but what we covered is the actual the center of it all, the center of this game, which is a third-person shooting game. And third-person shooting is very, very different from first-person. So we need to take into account a lot of things, because we can actually be sitting somewhere that we have a wall, and we need to instantiate from the muzzle. And if the muzzle hits the wall, it's not going to hit the player. We'll get into that later when we come up with those problems. But for now, this is how you do shooting with the raycast. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe to follow up on the series, and thank you for watching. I appreciate the support. Bye bye.